All right, welcome back, you all. We must continue this conversation as we look and we see this political theater. The political theater, as we see the narrative trap, as we watch the continuation within the manipulation of people around the world, being pulled into the lies or the pragmatic notions of American deception. The war is over. The war is on. The war is on. The war is off. Iran is defeated, but Iran is not defeated. What is going on? What's going on? You have an individual sitting within what they consider to be a most powerful seat in America, of America, and there's no argument that all this man does is lie. We understand that. And it's interesting, he ran a campaign based on fake news, and now, ironically, he's become fake news. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are the people of in America truly supporting? Corruption? Lies? Dishonesty? Or do the people of America feel as if they're fighting for democracy in some sense? Well, if democracy equates to oppression, what type of democracy is it? And is it even worth fighting for at that point? Thank you all for coming into the live. So we're watching this political theater. And we're watching these people manipulate masses of people thinking they're out fighting for the good of the world, when we all realize, and we know, in fact, I said months ago that this was about the resources when it comes to Iran. And some of you in ignorance say, oh no, this is about the liberation of the people because the people over there in Iran, they're doing this and they're doing that. No, what's happening in Iran is you have a MI6 and you have a CIA and you have covert operations that even before the 50s, they were intent on taking control over that nation's resources. That's all this has been about. Even today, in the name of democracy and trying to, air quote, liberate Iran and the people of Iran. The people of Iran, no different than the Palestinians, they're fighting for their self-determination. They're fighting for the right to live within the autonomy of living through their customs, their traditions, their heritage. And for a number of you, you have found some fault with that. And you think it's the right of Europeans to walk in and fix the issues. And I use that term issues lightly because when these Europeans walk in, they bring issues, they create issues. They give people money to stir up trouble within certain environments. But I told you then it was about the resources. And today, on the flip of a dime, you hear Trump say he want that oil. Point blank, just flat out. And a number of you want to act like you didn't just hear that. He want that oil. They want that resource. And then on the flip of a dime, oh, we're going to hold up. Now we have some kind of agreement. As long as the agreement is leading towards they get that oil, then they can move forward. But I don't think Iran is that sottish. I just don't think they're a credulous group of people. I think what we're witnessing is more lies, more deceit from the seat of a failing American institution. This is what we're dealing with, a failing American institution. And for a number of you, that's hard for you to see because you're really under the guise that, America is, the greatest country in the world. That's what, to be politically correct, it's like, that's what we're supposed to say. That this is the best country in the world. But I do ask, really, is it? There's so much affliction and or oppression in America itself right now. There are so many issues in America that need to be resolved, that before you step out and then try to resolve the issues within somebody else's homeland, so you want to neglect what's happening in your own homeland and then try to fix the problems of the world. That don't make no sense nowhere. That's just backwards. Thank you all for coming, into the live. You share the live, you post the live. I tell you guys, tap the screen. That part doesn't cost anything. And the stage is open. I know some folks have said it's kind of hard to see the button that allows them, to come up. They can't hit the invite or they don't see the people. So, just kind of put it says block. Let's see if I can get you up. Let's see. Let's try that. For whatever reason, I don't know why it's blocked, but it should be available for people to come up and join the stage. So I'm gonna send out, these quick invites, as they come across. If you all, want to come up, you can definitely, you can come up. All right, but as we look at this, we're watching this like political theater. Mainstream media, like you can't trust anything that's coming out of that mainstream media. You just can't trust it. And I just want to be clear, with that. You can't trust it. We've come to realize that in the US, there's a sitting president, and all he does he tell one lie, to another lie. Seem like we got somebody up on the stage. Hey, introduce yourself and let us know what you want to add to the conversation. Thank you for joining.
I'm 35 from the state of Alabama, independent. I just want to say, I wanted to go ahead and say thank you for being yourself and, just speaking what's really out there and what is factual. It's enough of, lies and bullcrap going back and forth, whether it's Republicans, Democrats. I mean, we are fed up with this. Anytime when there's war or anytime there's another country need help, they're quick to help it at 3 a.m. No disagreement. When it's time to do for the United States or the United States citizens, they're gonna argue in the Senate and the House and the Congress. They will never do nothing for the U.S. citizens. And it's time for us to wake up and smell the coffee and say this is right and this is wrong and there is nothing else between.
Okay, thank you very much. And you have a good point there. When there are things that are needed that deal with the concept of helping the people, they always say either there's nothing we can do or these things take time. But when it comes to something where they're able to benefit or it falls in line with what's considered called the interest of the government, they seem to find a way to get the resource, to benefit and or to make that thing happen. So I'm just pointing out when it comes to globally, you all, and if you missed my conversation last night as I unveiled, the new concept, the new idea for people to unite against oppression. And this is something that, we're looking to do globally. Let me see if I can show you the image that we used, for that real quick. How do I get to my images? Let's see.
I just want to also add, if I don't, I apologize for cutting you off. I just want to also add that there is scientific study that it takes $20 billion to clean the homelessness in the United States once and for all, and they will never agree to make that happen. But in 20 days of the war, we spent $20 billion, not a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are the things that, that we're talking about, that when it comes to something that can benefit and truly help the people, they find an excuse to do that because the aim or the goal is to keep the people within different degrees of oppression. And then you have those that have good jobs, homes and cars and, the American dream. They tell you there is no oppression. Okay. But as you've seen with the image that I put up earlier and last night, our discussion, it was centered around people uniting against oppression. And I'll see this is what the image, this is what it looks like. If I can show you again, real quick. Last night we were talking about people being united against oppression, and we rolled out the different points of oppression. Because globally, you all, globally, not just locally, not just regionally, not just nationally, but internationally, we're all plagued by the same thing, and that's oppression. So it's time for the common people, right? The small people within the world. It's time for us to come together and stand up against the oppression.
Can I go ahead? Can I go ahead and say one more thing? Also, I'm a third generation here in the state of Alabama. My parents, my grandparents came from the country of Yemen in 1970s when there was a GM, working in a GM, $3 a day, whatever. But anyway, I just wanted to say, respect takes you a long way. If we can just take a look at what's going on around the world, whether it's, like China, whatever, and how far they prospering. They prospering because they have one nation under God. But here in the United States, we have, two parties under flag. So and this is the big problem. If you even look at how those the Chinese handle themselves when going around the world, even when they go in the Middle East or African countries, they go and talk by trades. I'm gonna take this little land for 2 years, but meanwhile I'm gonna build you roads, bridges, hospitals, and everything you need to prosper. And I'm gonna get a little bit of this oil or whatever. And this is understandable. Meanwhile, you have another person that'll come from nowhere and just set up base and take it by force. When it comes to this day, 2026, all this is over with, and we need to start saying this is wrong and this is right. And there's only one way to do it. Is the right way. This is unipolar world now. You see, the BRICS have gathered closer to 80 countries. They didn't gather because they hate a country. They gather because they got tired of being bullied left and right. And they don't have no choice. If you don't follow, the agenda, you're gonna be sanctioned. You're gonna be, the government gonna be overthrown. It's just unacceptable.
Very much unacceptable. All right, so we're looking at what's happening globally. We got Leah that just came up on the stage. Leah, thank you for joining the conversation. I think you've been on this platform before. What would you like to add to the conversation?
Hey, thanks for having me up. Yeah, I was on here a while back ago, actually. This is my second time getting up on your panel. I just wanted to say I love the message that you're preaching, and I really do hope that humanity finds their way to your panel specifically, because you do have a uniting message that a lot of us need to kind of sit with and process and really hear it for what it is. It's been up versus down for a pretty much the entire time. But it seems that we've lost track of that almost. And now we're just pointing the finger at each other as opposed to the real enemy. And I really love your message. So that's really all I came up here to say.
Okay, thank you, Leah. Thank you. Well, at this point, what we realize is there's a common denominator. And what we find is systematically people around the world are being oppressed. And it doesn't make sense. And it's just common sense at this point that we come to unite within the common cause of ending that oppression, reclaiming the resources and standing for self-determination. And this is just for people and their families individually. There's too much within the world that people should not have, or that there's too much in the world that people shouldn't be in a lack with just the basic necessities, or having the common understanding as to what it takes to look out for your fellow man. That's just not a big thing when you look at what the basic necessities are. But, we have corrupt systems, in place, starting with America and then moving around the globe for those countries that have aligned themselves with the American pragmatism and focused on the concepts of oppression and, taking the resources of other people. So we'll never have peace, you all. We'll never have peace in the world until we can return the autonomy to individuals and or people that they can reclaim. They can reclaim that autonomy. So we got Man Cave that just came up on the live. Welcome to the live, brother. What would you like to conversation?
Hey, salute family. So it says all Trump do is lie. Can you give me a little bit more information?
Apologies, I thought you were somebody else. This is Roasted by TT. I thought you were someone else.
Me.
Roasted by TT. Okay, what was your question again? Roasted by TT.
It says all Trump do is lie. Can you give me a little bit more information so I can elaborate upon it?
Can I answer that one, please? Can I answer?
Yeah, let me give you a shot. Go ahead. Let's see if you can.
Yes,
If you
man.
can.
This, this so-called president, he got elected on, that agreement that he will not take any more wars and he will stop, the Russian war in 24 hours, and he will release the e-files and everything that you see. This man literally got on TV say we're gonna be, tired of winning, and he's gonna say no, we gotta win more. Can you name me one aspect we are winning in? Just one aspect.
Okay. All right. Hold that thought real quick, Roasted TT. And let's see. That was Mr. Facts. I appreciate that, Mr. Facts. So one thing I would say too, with respect to all Trump do is lie, is when you look at the point or fact that 1 minute the war is on, 1 minute, the war is off, 1 minute they're bringing peace, the next, it's not. It's like every time you turn around, he's saying one thing and he's just not delivering on anything that he's saying. It's like we're witnessing in real time. It's like really getting hard to track the different lies that he just tells in your face. And most folks aren't responding to these things. They're kind of, sweeping them under the rug. One example is they act as if they want to free the people of Iran because they're being oppressed. But here today, he said, we're going to get that oil. We want that oil. And I told people months ago that this ain't got nothing to do with the freedom of the people in Iran. This is about their resource, the oil. It goes all the way back, to the Operation Ajax. When they infiltrated, MI6 and CIA infiltrated, and they had that little coup in, they put the Shah in, and they did their thing then. This is just a replay of the same scenario in the name of democracy. So is that enough for you, Roasted by TT?
Yeah, that's great. You got to excuse me because I'm driving too. But here's the thing. We understand the system of white tea supremacy. What did everybody do? One thing that he is keeping his word on is immigration, and I agree with that. But what did we expect for him? What promise did we expect for him to keep? We've known U.S. presidents to where they do stuff for so long and then they end up going by their order. It's always been about, I'm trying to make sure that I do my words right because we're up on TikTok, but it's always been about, it hasn't been about what's best for other countries. This nation has never done that. It's always been something that they can get up out of it, right? And so I just feel like with these other, it's sad that the citizens have to go through what it is that they're going through. But if you know the history of the United States, this isn't nothing new. This is U.S. history. That's what they do. They say one thing and then they'll go to another country and they'll end up going to WA war with countries for resources and have the citizens and have the people in the other countries thinking that they're coming to do something totally different. If you guys have been noticing, since he's been in office, we've been dealing with Russia, Iran, Cuba, China. Look at all the countries that we have had some type of dealing with since he's been up in office. Look at all the countries. What do all those countries have in common?
Different resources, I would claim.
But not only that, either he has went to WAR or tried to go to WAR with those countries. It's a Cuba. They don't have any lights. He took their oil, right? Saudi Arabia, Iran, or wherever it is, they end up dropping some BOMBs up over there. China, he was trying to threaten them THREAT. I'm sorry, threatening. Oh, I love TikTok shop. Sorry, y'all. I'm driving. But look at all these different countries that he has. He's told the American people one thing, and then end up doing something totally different. They're up over there dropping bombs up on these different countries, but are we surprised? He been lying since day one. All of these presidents lie. They tell us what they think that we want to hear, and they do the very opposite. We are seeing the grandfather of white tea supremacy rise up, and he's a part of that program. It's crazy because now these other nations and these other people, they're starting to see what we've been trying to tell people for the longest. And now that it's hitting their homes when we've been telling them, look, you can't trust them like that. Even if they tell you that they got your back and they gonna support you, you can't trust them like that. These people come up over here, they listen to the lies, and now look at what he doing up in their homeland. Look at what they doing up in their homelands. But then they come up over here and they got all the smoke for us. But we ain't the ones up over there destroying your people. We ain't up over there dropping BOMBs, BS's up in your country. But y'all got all the smoke for us. We been telling y'all that's how these people get down. Welcome to the world of white tea supremacy. You want to know how they work? You got an example right here. They all lie. It's time for other countries. Y'all got to be able to build up y'all people and stop running from other countries as well. Because as long as you run, then they going to lie to y'all and tell y'all what you want to hear. And not only that, it's your leaders too. You can't just blame Trump. You got some of these leaders that's right up along with them. As long as the U.S. is sending them aid, they don't care what happened to their people. So it's a two-way street. They all lie. He's a part of white tea supremacy.
So what you just said right. Put you on mute. If I get you on mute. But that what you just said right there is a very true thing. Which, when I talk about people being united against oppression, and I had that conversation last night, I brought out that very point that you have people in countries that have accepted the deal, and when they accept the deal, it's like then they go to sell out their own people. But again, this is why, and the other point to what you said, which is very much true, is that, people have to stop running. And like they run to America, and then America may make life somewhat easier for them. And then they start promoting America like, as if, it's the savior or something, but yet their people still within these different places, they suffer. And then they make the people of their country the problem outside of understanding the sanctions and the embargoes and the other political things that America is doing, to cripple the country. They act as if those things, aren't happening. So we talk about, at this point in time, people understanding who the real culprits are when we're dealing with colonialism. As you look at a state of Israel, as you look at the United States, these are the colonizers, the main two colonizers of the world right now. These are the main two European groups that are oppressing different nationalities, across the world. And this is why I say at this point in time, it's time for us to unite against oppression. Unfortunately, you guys missed that conversation last night, but I tell you, the link is on my page right now. If you go right under where it says Saturday at 11 o'clock, you click that link. It'll take you to the YouTube channel where the video is posted, and you can hear the conversations that we're having and what it means to end oppression, right? So I appreciate your comments there, Roasted by TT. let's see, who else did we have? Seemed like we had, okay, Leah and Fax. Okay, did anybody else want to add anything to
Yeah, I
the
would like to say something.
go ahead.
I just wanted to say, this these people inside the United States, uh, from all race, creed, and way of life. Doesn't matter of their religion or the race, whatever. We have one understanding. Like I keep saying, 1+1 is equals 2, and it should be on everybody. But there are some people they're stuck to the old past. And days not going back. Days is only going forward. So the only way is we have to acknowledge that we are in the wrong too, because they keep giving us choices that we don't have no option. Whether it's Dumb and Dumber, whether it's two people, or somebody that can't even hold his stomach while press conference. This is the best we can do as United States of America. Elect somebody that can even hold his stomach during press conference, or can't even hold falling asleep on TV. This is embarrassment.
Right, right, right. Leah, did you want to add anything else?
Yeah, just so from personal experience, I'll just share this. Coming to America as an immigrant and as someone that presents white, I just want to bring up that these colonizers, these capitalists, these people that want to take our lands, they don't care about what we look like. They don't care about our societal divisions. They just care about what we're standing on. That's all they're interested in. Like I mentioned, I present white and or YT or whatever TikTok wants me to say. But at the end of the day, if you look at what's going on with Albania, in the majority of my country, we're pretty homogenous. We have Kushner, who's trying to buy out protected lands. It's to build their resorts so they can have more money. These people don't. All of these societal things that we choose to participate in, it really doesn't have anything to do with anything. These people just care about how they can have one leg up over you. That's all that it is. I've seen it happen way too many times.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. We see at this point in time they do not care, so much about our. They don't care about our, let's say, political differences. What they're looking at is how they control the resources. And once they control the resources, then they look at who will fall in alignment and or agreement with their policy and or their procedure. And then they'll prop that individual or that group of individuals up to then run the narrative for them. And that wouldn't matter whether you're white, black, brown, Puerto Rican, or other. They'll use whoever will speak in accordance to the paradigm that they wish, to continue functioning within this world. And you all, I hope you see, they will never bring peace. They can't do it. Every time they say peace, somebody else lose their land. Every time they say peace, somebody gets sick. Every time they say peace, somebody lose their home. Somebody will lose their life. It's just not something that we can look forward to have a basic standard, within life centered around uprightness and doing what's right by people. They can't be trusted. So this is why we're saying the common people around the world uh, have to come together and unite. And I speak it from this standpoint that we may look at it locally, regionally, nationally, but I'm telling you, this is something that has to happen on an international scale to where people realize the common denominator within the oppressive measures is stand with a U.S. government, it stands with a Israeli government, it stands within the United Nations, and they built the European Union as a part of their proxy. None of this stuff is truly and or genuinely centered around the self-determination and or the equality, or let's just say the equity of people within the world to live according to their heritage and thrive. So it's just for us to understand there's more of us than it is them. But you can't forget for those that have taken the deal. We have so many that have accepted the deal. And they may look like you or someone of your family or of your heritage. And we must be able to identify who these people are, such as today, we can't trust a Black Caucus, NAACP, a Ben Crump, or any of these institutions that they've put forward in the name of civil rights and trying to stand, for what's proper, appropriate, and just for the people. We can't trust none of them because they're all in bed with the oppressor. They're all in bed with the colonizer. They have their experts and their professionals that then come into our communities or jump on mainstream media, and they use the dollar of persuasion. They use the concepts of American pragmatism to make people feel as if they're trying. They're doing the best they can. They need to move the needle just a little bit. And this is just a game. They're running the world into the ground. It's undeniable. The air is polluted, the food is polluted, the water is polluted. You have famine, you have disease. Every time you turn around, something else is coming. Be it, and Ebola, be it what was the disease with the rats that was most recently talked about. You had that disease. Now you got some kind of burrowing fly, into the flesh of the cows, and now all of the meat and the poultry and your dogs, and we're always under attack. This is not by coincidence. This is because they are not good stewards over the earth. They're not good stewards. And for that reason, for all of their dishonesty and for all of their evil, these are the type of plagues that we're susceptible to. And this is why people must unite against oppression. From that standpoint, it don't matter what you look like. You could be in Cuba, you can be in Haiti, you could be in Venezuela, you can be in Palestine, you can be in Iran, you can be in Sudan. The mere fact is, one hand is over the oppression of the world. And don't get it twisted. I understand what my people have gone through for over 4,000 years and 250 years within America. And it's sad because some of you are going out to buy fireworks to celebrate 250 years of oppression. And this is not your independence. But you want to act like it's okay. It's for the children and whatever other things that you want to say, you all, but we have to stop participating and allowing them to think and or feel as if we're in agreement, with what's going on. These are the things that are unfortunate. So I just say we have to rise up and unite. The workers and the common people of the world. We must shatter that ghost of colonialism and draw the line to protect our families at all costs. We must do this. We must fight for liberation and reclaim our autonomy. We have, or what do we have to lose? If we do these things, what do we have to lose? Nothing. We have absolutely nothing to lose.
Can I ask a question?
Nothing to lose. Chains of mental slavery. And finally, you all, the entire earth is ours to reclaim in the fury of righteousness. We cannot accept nothing more but to be free. Go ahead, Roasted by TT.
First, I got two things. So the gentleman said that it's a certain group of people that keeps on dwelling up in the past. I would like to ask him who he's referring to. And then to the woman, she said that they don't care about how people look. That is a lie. These people don't care whether or not you Iranian, Asian, Black, Latino, whatever the case may be. How you look do matter because you're not white. You're not white. So that is a lie. They do care about how you look because you're not them. All they care about is white power, white superiority, white what they can do for their people, how they can come up, how they can take over the world, how they can be over everybody else that is not white. That's what they care about. So it don't matter whether or not you look white passing. They know at the end of the day that you're not them. You can best believe that they know that you're not them. And when they get mad enough, you'll hear it because they'll let you know how they really feel. And the problem is with a lot of people is you try to get so close to try to have this proximity to whiteness, not even realizing that they just using you. They don't like you neither. Y'all will join forces with the people that's coming to your homelands and destroying it. But the people that haven't did nothing to you guys globally, you will go against them. When we've been we know these devils. We know how they get down. You are not white. It doesn't matter what they tell you. Anything that they do for you, they using you for their own purpose and their own evil ways. You can't trust these people worth nothing. You can't trust none of these white tea people. Whatever they telling you, they lying. They got something up under their sleeves. They give you something. At some point, your people gotta pay for that. Your people y'all gonna have to pay the cost for anything that they do for you. Ain't nothing from them for free. Nothing. These people don't give out nothing for free. Anytime they do something, it's to benefit them. And then you end up learning late that, well, dang, we didn't know that we signed a contract with the devil. You dealing with the devil. Even if you don't believe in the Bible, the scriptures say the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. You dealing with the devil. And a lot of y'all don't understand that. You think because they make it seem like that you better than everybody else, they don't like you neither. They don't like you neither. And they looking for a way to destroy you. Especially up over here in the U.S. And let me give y'all a little secret and I'm going to go on mute. You know what they did to y'all other groups? They knew that a lot of you other groups was anti-black. They knew that they was able to go to your homelands and do different things. Black people have always protested and have always stood with other countries when it comes to these white tea people. Black Americans have always done that. But you come up over here off of our backs. We pave a way for you to be able to get the resources that we can't even get, that we had to shed blood with. When you come up over here, you have to move into our neighborhoods. You can't even move up into theirs. And then you disrespect us. Everything that y'all doing now, they wanted y'all to do that. Because they knew that as long as y'all was attached to us, as long as y'all made it seem like y'all was cool with us, if something went down, that we will unite and we will protect y'all. But because of the disrespect, so much that has been going on, now Black Americans have stepped back. Since everybody say that we victims, we letting everybody hold their own hold their own stuff, and these white tea supremacists, they about to come for y'all. See, a lot of y'all thought that you was better. You thought that you was something special because they lied to you. And now the only ally that you got, the only group of people that ain't did nothing to your homeland or your country, systematically, y'all allowed them to trick you. And now you got a thing for yourself. They coming for y'all. You got tricked. And I hope y'all understand that. Y'all got tricked. So good.
All right, hold on, Roasted by TT. Hold on. I've been trying to jump in there for a minute. You said a couple of things. Now, I'm not trying to defend what Leah said, but when she said it, I thought I knew what she was talking about when she said they don't care about what you look like. And what I explained in the point of they don't care what you look like is because they'll take anybody, whether you're black, white, brown, Puerto Rican, or other. If you sign the deal and agree with them, they'll give you a little money, and they will use that face or that group or those people to then act as if everything is on par with America, whether it's to convince the Palestinians, that America is good, or to convince, what it's like within our own communities as they've given, to our people to talk that foolishness like what's happening to us has not happened. So I'm not speaking for her, but I'm saying when she said that, that's what I understood, that to be. And you're right. Roasted by TT, when you say we've bared the burden within oppression for 250 years in America, for over 4,000 years, if you're running through history, looking through the annals. But for the 250 years that we've bore oppression here in America, then you have these other people that come from different countries seeking asylum. And when they seek asylum, the government uses these individuals against our people that are right here. And they do that by giving them certain amenities and or certain benefits. And at the same time, all they're going to do, as Roasted by TT said, when the time is right, they're going to come for you as well. And this is why I say now it's time for us to unite, and we have to be united against the oppression. This is what I'm promoting, to realize the culprit at this point, because we can't do this individually, you all. Like, me and my people can't stand to try and do this by ourselves. It's a great fight. We've been fighting it. But in order for us to be successful, in order for us to be successful globally, we have to look at the common denominator. The common factor is you have a state of Israel, Europeans. You have the United States, Europeans. You have the United Nations that's run by Europeans. You have the European Union. It says it, right there. These people are responsible for the atrocities that we're dealing with globally. So collectively, we have to look at how we can resolve this issue, because as Roasted by TT said, if you all keep thinking you're better than what we are because they've allowed you to have some comfort, in this world of oppression, they're coming for you next, as she said. So we have Raja. Raja is on the stage, you all. Raja is a journalist, and he's within that region, and he normally comes with different news and things that are happening within that region that is beyond the scope of mainstream media. Okay, welcome, Raja. and then we're going to go to Robert. Can you hear me, Raja? All right. Robert, we'll go to Robert. Robert, can you hear me?
Hey,
I'm not.
host. I don't see a Robert on the panel.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Well, maybe he jumped down. I thought I brought him up. Okay, well, maybe he dropped. Thank you for that. Okay. All right, so all I have right now is Raja that has not spoken. Raja, if you can hear me, the floor is yours. All right. So, um, also, at this point in time, oh, okay, I see. Okay, Robert says, okay. Okay, I hear you. Robert. Thank you.
It's
Okay.
okay if Raja doesn't, if he doesn't speak full English, I'll translate for him if I have to. رجاء إذا اشتكى أني أكلمهم بوش تقول عادي، تخابر يا أخوي.
هل بإمكاني أتحدث العربية؟ السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام. هلا
حبيبي صديقي، شكرا على الاستضافة صديقي.
يا مرحب فيك. يعني هل أنت يعني مقاوم على ما يحصل هناك؟ هل عندك أي علم بما يحصل هناك؟
نعم، الآن في قطاع غزة يوجد قصف مدفعي متواصل شرق مدينة غزة بالكامل، وهناك تقدم آليات في المنطقة الوسطى في دير البلح تحت كثافة النيران والآليات العسكرية التي تتقدم شرق مدينة دير البلح يا صديقي.
He just wanted to thank you for bringing him up over here. And for today, there's a place that's called Dir al-Balah. It is getting bombarded since 6 a.m. non-stop to this moment. And God is great. All we can do is hold on for dear life.
Thank you, Raja, for coming up. I've actually had time with Raja on other panel with different journalists such as Sammy, such as, Abu, and these individuals are always bringing, like I said, that news and that information that's keeping us aware of just what's happening or the things that we're not seeing within mainstream media, you guys. But I'm just going to tell you, right here, right now, that it's important, for us to understand what it's going to take to overcome these atrocities, because they're systematically pitting, us against ourselves, even my people against my people. I mean, they've been doing that, right? And they understand that if we come together, meaning my people, if we come together, that's going to be liberation for the entire world. In fact, they've considered us to be the threat right here in America. So I'm just going to say it like it is. America is my enemy. That's all it can be, because it has labeled me and my people the enemy. When the FBI says you cannot allow for these people to come together, otherwise it's a threat to national security, that means we're the enemy. So do you want me to continue trying to act as if they didn't say what they said, and you want me to try and be friends and cordial with someone that have labeled me or targeted me? I can't do that. I have to stand at that point and be firm within the fight for liberation. The only thing I can vote for is liberation. And when our people are liberated, then the entire world will be liberated. This is what they understand and or know. This is why they will allow for a number of you to come here, and they'll give you this and give you that, because They don't find you to be that type of threat. Although within that region that they call the Middle East, the Fertile Crescent, that region, the Middle East is a European term, most modernly and or here most recently being used. But in that region, you have Europeans dressed up as white Hebrew Israelites, calling themselves the State of Israel. And then you have the British and you have the American Europeans, and they're over there only to disrupt and destabilize that region.
Can I?
They're looking to suppress and or bring into captivity all of the Muslims. So they got two enemies. They got the Muslims over there, and then they have us, over here. That's their aim. That's their goal. What did you want to say?
Yeah, I just wanted, to bring, straight facts and straight reasonings. Like, okay, we don't want to talk about the 1948 or the 1967. We don't want to talk about nothing that. Let's just get direct to the rabbit hole. For example, today in 2026, for the whole Middle East, whole 57 Muslim countries, they are ready to see two-state solution with Israelis and Palestinians live side by side in peace and harmony. They don't want that. Okay, so if we go down to the next option, these people was born and raised here. They don't know any country. Meanwhile, these people came from Poland, from Germany, and they got different passports they can go back from. So if you want to kick one race out, kick the ones that have the passport to go somewhere else. What do you want? Well, however you want it, all we asking is either two state, where they live among each other, peace and harmony, or either blend them in together like the United States. Where in the United States, we got Jews, we got Muslims, nobody cares about your religion. Everybody is almost, everybody is fair right here. But over there, you got somebody that's born and raised here, he have no rights. And somebody that come from another country have full rights. Is unacceptable. And if you ask them, let's do a DNA to find out who's who, they don't want to give you no DNA test. What do you want me to do? What is your plan? Their plan is to eradicate the rest of the people out of there and send them about their way. And this is unacceptable. This is not right. You have, however way you look at it. I mean, give me the peace solution. When you ask them, what is the solution? The solution is to get rid of the rest of the people from that place and turn that place to a big resort and a big beachfront for them. Does this make sense?
Right. No, it does not. It does not make sense.
Not only that, what's backing all that is two main things that's backing all that and has been backing it for 80 years. What are those two things? You got APAC lobby that control from the president to the mayor. They can't even fart without asking their APAC, person that is on top of them. Just because you talk about the country, you automatically gonna be elected. You see the last thing we seen with our own eyes with Thomas Massey. We all seen Thomas Massey was a great guy. He was standing for what's right. He was speaking for the truth and the facts. Even about the USS Liberty, everything he was standing 10 toes down on business. What happened? They don't want him, and they paid millions of dollars to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So it's true that when you come to the U.S. and you look at how people have come here, I just want to point out the fact, you all, that they stole this land too. When you get down, now they may have some treaty to try and validate a 13 colony. But when you get outside the point of the 13 colony, they have nothing to support this thing that they call manifest destiny, to where they went and they took all these other lands from, the people that are here. And they got to give all that back. And that's what they don't want to do. And this is what they're holding on to, right now, as they continue, to manipulate one people to another as long as they can maintain and control the land, be it through a puppet government, because you have a lot of folks that say, oh, within Africa, you got black folks that are in leadership. These are puppets. These are people that are under the rulership of the United States or some other European nation. And if you have one that is not, such as a Burkina Faso, then they do what they can to restrict that nation from being prosperous. They then start working to make everything difficult for that people until they can finally get in and get what they want. And this is why they got to go. This is why they got to go. They can't continue to rule the world in corruption. It does not benefit any of us. And this is why you hear me talking about oppression. This is why you hear me talking about pragmatism, even from the standpoint of American pragmatism and the need, okay? The need to end oppression. Being able to look at the tenets of oppression, that we can talk about it and come to understand what they're doing, how they're doing it, that then we can start to break this thing down, that we're now removing ourselves from it. But furthermore, we're able to connect with different people internationally to fight this oppression. I'm telling you, if we continue to try and do this thing individually, okay, they're going to have a field day. From that standpoint, we're just like ducks in the water. They just pluck us off, just one by one. But one thing we're all dealing with at this point in time, you all, the one thing we're all dealing with, and that is colonialism. They come and they settle within our lands. They come, they set up their policies, their procedures, right? And we're now under their rule. I'm telling you, right here in America, black folks, air quote, black folks, air quote. We are a people still being ruled by another people. It's like really no different than if you would look at in Gaza, the Palestinians, and here you have the Israelis coming in trying to rule over the Palestinians. That would be a people being ruled by another people. This is what it is in the United States when you talk about black people. So when you see what's transpiring with Gaza and a fake white Hebrew Israelite who don't belong in that region, they stole the land over there. When you see that, it's the same thing that happened in the U.S. That's what happened to us. And we're asking you all to understand that. And we're asking you not to come into an America and act like, oh, it's better. Because the same evil that you see in a Netanyahu and a state of Israel, that's the same evil we see in America. In this administration, that administration, Democrat, Republican, it don't matter. Vote for liberation. Vote for reclaiming autonomy. It's the same evil. And this is what a lot of my people are upset about with a number of you that come from other nationalities and or other heritage, is you come here and you act as if you forgot or you don't know, and you act. All right, so we got somebody else that just came up on the stage. Ahmed, welcome back, Ahmed.
Hello, how you doing? It's good to be here again. I came for the topic, to be honest.
Great. What you want to add to the conversation, Ahmed?
I want to go from our perspective as North Africans if this is gonna work or not. Like the plans that are being put on all of us like right now, and this
Hold on,
war.
Ahmed. Ahmed.
Yeah.
Ahmed. Hold on 1 second, Ahmed. Hold on. Leah, you say you want to add something? Go ahead, Leah, and then I'll come back to you, Ahmed. Go ahead, Leah.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, Ahmed. I'll make it quick, I promise. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak. I actually wanted to add something to my initial statement, just to kind of give more detail to it. When I was talking about our skin color doesn't matter to them, I just meant that as somebody who presents like them, that has not, who was not spared, essentially. So I present YT, but in that manner, in that same manner, it didn't save me from ethnic cleansing. And if you guys know about the Bosnians, they also present white, and it didn't save them from G-side. So all I'm saying is I'm aware of the system, and I'm fully against it. And so that's why I really love your panel, because you're calling for all of us to call it out. And this is a great way where we can all come together and talk about the differences, but also identify the issue, the real issue, not the one that they put in front of us, but the real issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah. Go ahead, Ahmed.
Yeah, thank you. How about that? We're talking about the US and Iran and the Middle East, right? So in this situation, we cannot exclude Israel. But in the same situation, I would say the Americans worked so hard the last, I would say, 100 years to make good contracts in this area, and they succeeded to take contracts and control, I would say, over the resources and the diplomacy of this country's leaders and governments and all of that. They have done that. We cannot deny that, even from our perspective. But nowadays, with this war, it's jeopardizing this. Like now in our countries, we used American technologies to extract oil, right? We could go for the Russians or the Chinese. So the Americans worked hard for that. And this war is not going for the benefit of the US, as everybody knows. Like there's no critical problem between Iran and the US, but it's made for to stabilize more the greater Israel that's wants to be as a superpower in the region. And the Greater Israel is not like something we came up with. The Prime Minister of Israel have been speaking about this in public, speaking about the greater size of the country, taking some parts of Syria, Iraq, Egypt, and so on. But also, at the same time, the same government that you have made great alliance with, like the Saudis, the Egyptians, the Syrians, and so on, they also have fears about the expansion of Israel, because Israel is a hostile country. They're not peaceful. So put everything together, or I could put everything together. The contracts, the resources that are like being now a problem, that there is a huge war happening. The and also the stability of those countries, because our economies, like I'm talking from a government perspective right now, we had peaceful times in the last 50 years, but now you're jeopardizing this to bring the whole region in a war, and for no good for the same people in this region. Like, I mean, governments, not the citizens. We as citizens, me in Egypt, someone anywhere in the world, you in the US, our opinions cannot start a war and cannot stop it. And that's a fact. I think we can agree on that. But the governments themselves, which can give orders, which have the power to decide which way they go, they're also in a critical situation because of this. They need to align with what the Americans want in the region. Superpower, you cannot deny it, but also, like, they also need stability. On the other hand, in 2013,
They also need stability.
in 2013, there was the revolution happened in Syria. The Syrian president went to the Russian to help him get over it and use their forces and something. what happened after 2013, they destroyed the country, and they used the country uh, as a show to show their weapons and armory and things. The Arab countries and African countries, we bought their weapons on that, and then the Russians withdrew. The Americans have also installed some military bases to put hands on some oil contracts and something. But you can see what's happening. It's like they're fighting over resources and things, and it's happening. Governments cooperate with that, and they get paid and all of that. But at the same time, where are you going with this? If the Americans think that this will bring peace to Israel, it's not happening, because even the Arabs, even the Muslims in the country, we also have no problem with Iran. Iran has never been a threat to Egypt. Has never been a threat to our neighbors. Yes, they are now with the Gulf countries, but you can see on the news that they don't condemn as much as they should be in a wartime. So, like, it's like what are you guys doing? Israel, they had their times of peace, and they should be taking responsibility for stabilizing their borders with their neighbors, so their citizens could have peace in the future. If they want peace, there should be peace, not war, right? But
Hold on,
this is
hold on, Ahmed, because the the Israeli state, they don't want peace. You know, they're looking to push the Greater Israel, project. But let me get here. I got Tia Love, and then I got Moving Through It. We got to hear from them, here real quick. Tia Love, what you want to add to the conversation?
Well, hello there. I'm new here, and I was just enjoying the conversation because everything that you're stating is true. I came in on the part about, how they're stealing land, and it's all about land. And like Amada said, it's all about resources. It's about greed. That's what our leader here in America is after. Anything that he can steal, it's in their DNA. And it's not just him, but like I said, it's over in Israel, it's over in all of these countries. They're fighting over land. And the problem, like you're saying about here in America, what I'm tired of right now is the racism and the oppression of the Black people. It is pretty much time for a revolution. It's time for us to come together, and all those who are willing out of love come together to fight against oppression. Where I was asked, they had a Moses to deliver the Hebrew out of Egypt. But today no one is stepping forth to bring us together to be able to stop this oppression. If we were able to stop it then, we should be able to stop it now. We're talking. I see a lot of panels and everybody's talking, but I don't see any change. And it's maybe because we're not coming together to actually make the change. Everyone is sitting in their sealed houses. Everyone is just minding their own business, and they're acting blind to what is going on. And it offends me that a lot of races think that Blacks should get over it. But how can we get over our lived experience that we've lived in the past and we're continuing to live now? And so it has to stop. And that's just my 2 cents right now.
I'm going to speak on a couple of things you said. Well, one, I'm going to speak first to the oppression. And it's been a greater part of my platform, as you see the logo up top, People United Against Oppression, where I'm looking to get people to move beyond the concept of just talking about it, but coming to understand the practical things that we can actually do to build international connections, because that's the one thing that each of us can share, or we can realize in common. We're being oppressed globally. So we have to deal with it from that standpoint. As long as they can keep us individualized, then they stand a better chance of maintaining the power, stealing the land, and having control over the resources. The other thing that I want to address is where you said, for us, they tell us we're playing the victim. Well, I made a point, to have a discussion a couple of days ago. And like I said, you guys, if you want to hear these discussions, there's a link on the page right up where it says Saturday, 11 o'clock. You click that link, it'll take you to the YouTube channel. And you all help me grow that channel. Share those videos with your families and with your friends. Subscribe to that channel. But in the discussion, what I expressed, there's an old video that I found maybe 7-8 years ago. And when I saw it, I said, oh man, they're going to remove this video. So I downloaded it. But right now, you can't find the actual video. What you do see is other people talking about the video, doing their own illustration of it. But this is where there were like 10 newspapers. And you all know back then the newspaper was like mainstream media, news or the internet, for right now. So you had like the Sun, which is a New York paper, New York Times. You had Atlanta Constitution, the Gazette, from Canada. But all these papers were talking about the white Europeans, the white Hebrew Israelites, those that have hijacked the heritage of another people. But it said in the 20s in the paper, they received $1 billion to rebuild jewelry. Okay, you can guesstimate the value of $1 billion in the 20s. And then they turn around and they gave them another $100,000 and then another $50,000. And you all, this was all before whatever transpired in a World War II. So these people have played the victim and they've been paid over time. And still to this day, they get paid. So I use that information for us to understand and to be able to say, don't let nobody ever tell you to stop playing the victim when these people, these Europeans, acting as if they're the original people, of Judea, of the southern kingdom of Israel. They're acting and they've played the victim all the way up to this point and they're still getting paid. So, don't never let them call you.
تدري
Can I have a chance to speak, please?
Well, I got moving through first. Moving through?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm showing you a map. Do you know what this is a map of?
Tell me what it's a map of.
It's a map of the Middle East. Are you able to show me where Israel is on this map? This is Israel and the Middle East. Can you show me where Israel is? Do you know where it is, or would you like me to help you
Yeah,
point
go
it
ahead.
out?
Help us out. Go
Okay.
ahead. I'm trying to
So
make.
this is all Arab countries here, and this is Israel. The blue speck. Can you tell me how this is about land when all of this is all Arab land and this is Israel? Where's the colonization from Israel, please?
Because they're also moving within the concept of the Greater Israel Project. They're not done.
Show me where the Greater Israel Project is in this map.
I can't show. Actually, it won't even let me put you up to where we can really see what you're trying to post because I wanted to put you on the main
See?
screen, but it
Here
won't.
we
It
go. Saudi
and that,
Arabia, Iraq, Syria, Egypt, all Arab countries today. They weren't always Arab countries. Egypt was Coptic Christian. Iraq, Syria was Christian. Libya, Sudan, they're all now Muslim countries. Who is colonizing who? Who is gaining more land as we speak today? Not the Jews, not the Israelites. It's the Arab Muslims who are taking over the entire Middle East, and they've come to Europe and they've come to the West. Now, I just want to say, how has Israel oppressed Americans?
oh, they do it all the time, but they deny. They deny everything, that they do. They have no hand, in anything. So, that's about like a
Can you?
mute point, from that standpoint. And again, going back to the Greater Israel project. Now, I can understand what you're trying to
I
point out.
apologize. I apologize. A call came through. Sorry. Did you say? Can you give me an example of how you personally are being oppressed by Israel?
I mean, Israel oppress us over here in America with the music they allow to be promoted. Israel
With the
oppressed us.
what?
Israel oppress
With the
us over
music?
here in America. You're asking me a question. I'm trying to respond, and you won't be quiet.
Sorry, I apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah, Israel oppressed us over here, by the way, or through the financial institutions that they have degrees of control over which they deny, and these things are all centered around the oppression of my people. Now, again, someone such as yourself may not understand it. You may not know what I'm talking about, but we've lived this for more than 250 years. So I understand
Okay.
you sympathize, with
So,
you sympathize with the state of Israel, and you possibly believe, that they belong over there in that land. But at this point, they stole the land no different than the Europeans here in America. They stole this land, and
how did they
that's.
steal the land? Can you tell me how they stole the land?
I would rather you tell me, how they did not steal it. Well, first of all,
Sure. I would love to tell you. I would love to tell you.
in the Middle East, they used the military, to take the land. And over here in the U.S., I mean, they came in, and everyone understands how they conquered, these lands right here. So I'll just appreciate you, for your comments, but it's not productive. It's not productive for what we're trying to do as we're talking about ending oppression. Anybody else want to, add to the conversation? There's some conversations I can tolerate, and then there are others that it's not going, anywhere. All right.
Thank
Uh,
you. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say thank you for not platforming that. She's not even an American, so I don't know why she's speaking on behalf of us. Just a few names that I'd like to point out if people have the time to look into them. But Rachel Corrie, she was unalived by Israel. Jacob Flickinger, as you all know about the USS Liberty, the men that were unalived on that ship. You also have people like Jonathan Pollard. They also benefit from our tax exempt status. So when that creates a deficit in our economy, we end up actually covering that for Israeli organizations. And they also oppress us by installing their own lobby groups that override our power to vote through candidates that are supposed to represent us, but instead they represent Israel and then gloat about it to our faces.
Absolutely. Those are examples. But again, in the face of their sympathizers and their empathizers, it's like none of that makes sense. And what she calls truth is nothing but pragmatism. These are things that, they've come about to push as a fact that they want to use to substantiate their business or their endeavors. So it's obvious, to those of us that have eyes to see and ears to hear, that oppression is real. And you have people like moving through that want to come up and try to make you act as if what you're feeling or what you're going through is not real. Yeah, it's not real. Okay, they are not real, but they would want you to think that your experience is not your experience, and will have you to try to go through some other measure and or mean, but to allow them to continue abusing you. It's just not going to happen. It's over. The jig is up. It's just taking a little more time for us as people to realize the common threat, the common enemy that stands within a people that call themselves, a state of Israel, and a United States of America that's holding hand. They're settling within different territories. They're taking land, they're taking resources, and they're denying it the whole while, the whole way. They don't respect law. They create these policies and these procedures, and they make it to where everybody else must bend or yield to their policies and or their procedures. But when it comes to this thing that they call international law, they don't respect it. It applies to everybody but them. Come on, you all. These are the master manipulators. And you get people like Moving Through that want to come up and act as if they have some truth. So, yeah, I'm just going to look at it from, this standpoint. I think this has been, a very successful live. And I just like to go back and explain to people. Last night, we had talked about people united against oppression. We talked about the detriments of American pragmatism. You have to look into that concept. These are the psychological games that they've played. And people like Moving Through, they deal with the concept of pragmatism. Okay? We talked about the planned oppression. We talked about the overlapping oppression. This video is on the YouTube channel. I said you guys can click the link on my page. You can click the link on my page right under where it says Saturday, 11 o'clock. You click that link and subscribe to that channel, but it'll take you to where that video is listed. We talked about the overlapping oppression. We talked about the phases of oppression, which pointed out the 4 levels of oppression. And it also dealt with the 5 phases of oppression, right? It dealt with a concept called intersectionality. Y'all need to look at those things. We talked about blind justice. We looked at healthcare, like how oppression, is affecting all of these things, the healthcare, workplace, equality. And then in closing, we dealt with disrupting colonization and reclaiming global liberation as we're asking people to be united against oppression. We're rolling it out, okay? We're getting ready to line it up, and we just want to see how many people we can get to stand with us, and then we can go to the next step of looking at how we create these networks here in the U.S., not only locally, regionally, nationally, but we got to go internationally, and how we can connect the people in Iran with the people in Palestine, with the people in Cuba, with the people in Sudan, with all the people around the world that are globally being oppressed. Because I'll say it like this right here: rise up and unite. The workers and the common people of the world, rise up and unite. We must shatter the ghost of colonialism and draw the line to protect our families at all costs. We must fight for liberation and reclaim autonomy. What do we have to lose, you all? Nothing. We have absolutely nothing to lose but the invisible chains of this mental slavery. And finally, the entire earth, you all, that's ours to reclaim in the righteous fury. That part is key, in the righteous fury, because we can't reclaim the earth and then rule it just as corrupt as they did. Otherwise, we're no better. And we would deserve the same end and or the same reward of the wicked. So this must be done in that righteous fury. We cannot accept nothing more but to be free. And with that, I want to thank you all for coming, into the live. I appreciate you all for, sharing the live, reposting the live. I appreciate the guests that have come up on the panel, all of your words. I even appreciate you moving through. Thank you for allowing us to see, the evil and the corruption that's out there, and helping me to expound even more on why we have to pay attention to pragmatism. Okay? Ouch, that hurt. I don't know who just scratched me, right there, but I felt that. I want to thank you all, for the comments and for being here. We're going to do this again. We're going to continue to talk about the oppressed people around the world and the need for us to unite, because there's more of us than there are them. The common people, you all. The only thing we don't have is strategy, you all. And they're banking on the fact that we're going to remain separate. But it's time for us to use these venues and these places to meet, to have these conversations, to truly understand what things we must do to overcome this oppression. Basically saying, listen, when we stand in solidarity, if something happens in the United States, then the people in the other regions, be it a Sudan, be it a Cuba, be it a Gaza, be it a Iran, they react. If something happens to the people in the Gaza, then the people in America, the people in Congo and the other regions, we react. We have to have that type of allegiance. We have to be able to communicate and understand what's happening to oppressed people, that we can stand and we can use our power to enforce the law. This is the part that I didn't get to talk about. Enforcing the law, because they've tried to make us feel as if we can't enforce the law. But we're sitting back waiting for them to enforce a measure of law against themselves. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's up to us as the people to enforce law against them for their corruption. And I'm just going to end, right there, and tell you guys, go to the YouTube channel. The link is on my page under there where it says Saturday at 11 o'clock. Please click that link, subscribe to the channel. Y'all help me grow the channel. Fairly new, right? But we got some content up there. If you want to hear the discussion about people united against oppression, that was the last video I put up. Go watch the video as I run through the line items that I just talked about. And if you all are really serious, as the one lady came up and she says she don't see nobody, that's doing these things. Well, here's somebody that's doing the thing. The only thing we need are more people, such as herself, that can know the commitment or the value to commitment. Because I see people all the time, out of emotion, they come to the table and then they get too busy. They're too distracted. They can't focus on the mission. And that's the fall within oppression. It's like an addiction. It is an addiction, a different type of addiction. And that's another conversation. Y'all about to get me going for another 30, 45 minutes. And I said bye 5 times already. All right, so I appreciate you all. Thank you for coming, into the live. We'll do it again. And I just say good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Until the next time, you all be safe out there. Thank you.
Thank you.